I ended my marriage to my husband and I am devastated. I have made many mistakes. I had it all. On paper, I had a marriage that people would dream about. My ex-husband still feels weird saying that, had his faults, don't get me wrong. He would prioritize work over our girls and myself. He wanted to give us the world. Which I'm so thankful for because it let stay home with our girls. But I got lonely. I was tired of always watching TV shows at night by myself. I hated always taking family trips and he was never around. Date nights were basically non-existent. We would have the conversation of me saying I was lonely, but I never truly sat him down and said, if we don't fix this, I can't stay here. He would even ask if things were okay and I would always say yes. Mistake number 1. In November, I said I wanted out. In my mind, it was the right decision. We had hit a rough patch and I didn't love him the way I should have. At that time I didn't see it worth trying to save because I was being blind to my own thoughts. Sure, in a way I thought the grass would be greener. Surely someone out there would love to spend time with me, go out on date nights, etc. In my mind, there wasn't any option but out. He was willing to do anything to fix us. Mistake number 2. We filed in January and definitely by February I was thinking it wasn't right. I won't lie. I tried to talk to other people to help stop the pain of getting divorced. Someone was paying me attention. We know it feels good to be wanted. Chatting with other men was mistake number 3. My ex isn't one to go back on his decisions. As I was out trying to escape pain and reality by visiting friends and family, he was home heartbroken, but healing. He saw me doing my thing and assumed I was clearly many steps ahead of him. All the while I was just pushing it aside and not healing. I was regretting this decision, again, not sitting down and talking about my feelings. Mistake 7 million at this point. Our divorce was finalized June 8th. Internally I'd been a disaster. I put a good face on for our girls and nobody had a clue. This past weekend I went and saw my brother. I was telling him all about how I missed him and regretted my decision. Maybe he would be willing to try again, he would say. Maybe. A few weeks ago my ex went out on a date. He told me about it as he was nervous leading up to it. Okay, I could handle this, right? Then, I found out that he saw her again. I have been so devastated and angry. Angry at myself for throwing something away. Angry at myself for not trying to fix it. Angry that all the examples I had of love were complicated and nothing is ever like the movies. Last night I poured my heart out as I sobbed. He didn't seem fazed. Told me he was sorry for me. That because I broke his trust there isn't a foundation for us to build off of ever again. He has moved on and I've clearly just begun that healing process. I can't sleep. I can't eat. All I can do is cry and rage and cry again. Without a doubt, this is the worst thing I've ever gone through. I know that many on here are here because they were in awful marriages. But if you aren't and can find a way to make it work, try it. Don't have regrets. Communicate before it's too late. You can't undo the past. Once the train has left the station. I will always love him. Now I just have to love him with someone else. Comments. 1. While I do hate that you are in pain, I do hope some that are considering divorce and come here see this post and think twice. Society is way too pushy for divorce and abandonment for every little thing. I myself was left around that time. Divorced through text. I never saw it coming. Communication could have saved us. I was willing to do anything to make it work. She never gave us that chance. Sad thing is, I am still willing to try anything. She knows it too. I am just not worth a simple phone call. I wish I was as strong as your husband. To be able to heal to a point where he can move on in that time frame is something I envy. There are truly good men out there. Not all of us want to mess around and send pictures of our junk to women. Some of us truly want a family. Communication is the best way. 2. In hearing other stories from divorced men, it seems that a significant portion of the time their ex-wives have already mourned the loss of the marriage, grieved, moved on and found somebody else by the time they report the feelings of being unhappy and then wanting divorce. This seems to be why men are so surprised and often report how unfazed their ex-wives are. Both parties definitely aren't at the same point in the healing process most of the time. 3. You're right. I won't claim to know how most men function in relationships, but I do know how women emotionally detach. Sometimes it takes years. But once she begins this process of letting go, any slight word or action will push her over the edge to the point of no return. I begged my ex-husband for years to plug into the family. Month after month he found new ways to not be present. Essentially, he taught me how to live without him. Him repeatedly telling me no forced me to learn to get it for myself. Once I realized I could take care of myself, it was necessary to leave him. When he was served, he behaved like we had been madly in love for 19 years. I was a fixture in his life. Just something that he expected to be at home when he decided to walk through the door, kinda like legs on a sofa. 4. I'm sorry to hear someone else is going through the same. I think too many get caught up in echo chambers like this and other forums, where all the parrots scream just leave them, and get blinders to the very real damage and pain they are causing the person on the receiving end of being abandoned. Sure, there are situations where that is absolutely warranted, but it's not a blanket solution to every marital issue. 5. I think your biggest mistake was assuming that the source of your unhappiness was external, your marriage, versus internal, your mind. The second mistake was ending your marriage before working on it. While the second one was smaller and less important in a way, it's much more devastating because it directly harmed and traumatized other people, your family. 6. I've definitely found in my last 2 serious relationships, 1-year on and off relationship and 16-year relationship/marriage, both of the women I loved believed I was the one responsible for their happiness. I've had a clear understanding for as long as I can remember that I'm the only person responsible for my happiness, and I can't help but connect the dots between being perpetually unhappy while simultaneously feeling powerless to control or understand why. 7. That story is a mix between me and my soon-to-be ex. I, 44M, will be getting a dissolution next week. This after almost 2 years of separation and 23 years of marriage at the time of separation. She felt like you did, but when she left, she really didn't look back. At least it felt that way. I still love her and would have done anything to try and work it out with her. She cheated a couple of times, yet I still love her for some reason. It left me devastated. I think I am mostly healed now and am trying to put myself out there to date again, but it is still hard. I am not perfect, not will I ever claim to be. I know what went wrong from my side. I would love to be able to do it over knowing what I know now. Maybe I could have saved our marriage. She is currently living with a current boyfriend number 3, since our separation. So there is no going back at this point. I am trying my best to move on. Good luck to you as you heal and start to move on as well. 8. This what every man fears and why I don't want to get married. To be a man that works so hard to provide for his wife and children. Tries to make sure his marriage is steady and his wife is happy. Tries to reconcile and work on the marriage in earnest. And gets blindsided. I'm not attacking OP directly, but this is such a heartbreaking, unfair story for the guy. He loses everything because he has to work to support his family, and his spouse is mainly thinking of a unicorn out there for her who will give her everything she wants. I hope OP finds peace, but wonders if this gives some perspective about why marriage is breaking down. It's not all because of men, a lot of this is due to unrealistic expectations others have and what they feel they deserve. 9. He worked like an animal for his family and you're bored? You got what you asked for. The entitlement of people today is really terrible. Why are people always looking for the tingles and excitement? You had a good husband and father and threw it away. I don't blame him for not wanting you back, he deserves a good woman that will stand by him.